Hello everybody, welcome back to the Central Otago Railway. It's great to see you back again for another episode. This episode here we're going to be building some wagons. We've got two wagons to build. We have got a couple of these LC wagons to build from South Dot Models. So yeah, stick around. We're going to head over to the workbench there and I'm going to show you the steps and the processes I use to make these wagons. So stick around. Alright, so here we are, we're at the work desk here, we're at the workbench. We've got two kits in front of us here, which are the South Dot Models, the LC3 steel high side wagon. And I got the ZR with the ribbed ends. You can get them with the plain ends, but I prefer the ribbed ends, so that is what I ordered. I got two of these here. Usually when I order, when I get two wagons, the same, I build them at the same time. I don't want to build one, finish it, then build the other one, finish it. It just seems like too much work. So both of them will get built at the same time. Now the workbench here is I've got glue and bits and pieces over here, and I've kept it as clean as I can. But to make these true, you know, like these white metal kits and bits and pieces, and you know, they have to be made pretty spot on. So I get this, it's like a 3mm piece of steel I've got here, and this is like my build surface. It's dead flat surface, and it's what I use to keep everything true as I build. So it's quite handy. It's probably one of the handiest bits and pieces I have for, you know, white metal kits like these, when literally millimeters matter. So enough with that, let's get on to it. Now the boxes are they're actually pretty nice boxes. They got a lot of colour and bits and pieces. I remember years ago it was just like a yellow, I think it was like a printed out yellow piece of paper, or it was like a green piece of paper that was stuck onto the box. South Dot, they've really made an effort into the packaging of their wagons. You know, the nice colours and bits and pieces, and also on the end what the wagon is. So enough of the box. Let's get into it. What have we got here? So first off we've got the instructions. So the instructions are what we need to build this wagon, if you've never built one before. And it's basically, they've done the same with the wagons too. They've done a really nice job. Everything's coloured photo, coloured logo, everything looks very well done. Inside it is an exploded diagram of how basically all the components go together on the kit. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty much. And also down the bottom I use this here. If you use KD couplers, don't worry about this, but I use the NZR couplers. So these couplers are actually supplied with the kit, and so those are the ones I follow. And on to the next one, we have got the, basically it's like a builder's diagram, I suppose you can say, of the actual wagon. And up in the, here it tells you like the tier weights, axle weights, loading capacities, bits and pieces. It's actually quite interesting to read. This one here has got the a bar that goes up over the top, and the bar you can see would swivel side to side. Now that was used for a tarpaulin back in the days, but we're not using tarpaulins in this kit. We're not using that bar, so it doesn't concern us. But yeah, these are quite interesting to read actually. Then we got the parts list. That's where you're going to make sure everything's in the kit there. How much of it, and what the part numbers and bits and pieces are, and what they're actually called and labelled. So all the paperwork, relative paperwork, is included in these kits, which is really nice. So under the bubble wrapping, right, we'll start off with the wheels. We got wheels. Make sure we got two wheels. It's a bit hard with the glare on the packaging, but we got the two wheels, and there's this sprue that's got the brake chains and hoses and the coupling hook attached to it. And down, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but in the, yeah, right here, so we got some little bearings, little brass bearings there, and they'll fit into the sole bars there, and the axles fit into them to make sure the wagon runs properly. So these wheels will go through a back-to-back gauge, and to make sure that they're true before putting them on the wagon. And then we have a bag here full of, this is basically the main parts of the wagon. So we've got the two ends, the two ribbed ends, the this of the wagon that I ordered, the two ribbed ends, and we got the underframe here. Underframe is one big solid piece. and also a couple of soul bars and bits and pieces. And then, of course, I have a couple of brake rings, brake hangers, and other bits of the kit in here as well. So that's the main part of the kit in there. Also, we have got in the tissue paper, this is the resin sides. These are really nicely done, these resin sides. They're very, very quality resin sides. They're nice and smooth and flat. They're true. No, I really like them. I really do like them. And they're easy to work with too. So they're easy to sand if you need to sand them for whatever reason. And they're just so easy to work with. So enjoy those sides as well. They're nice. You also got a resin floor in the bottom there, and that will be cut to size when we build the wagon. So it'll be they've purposely given you a bit of sorry, I said resin floor, styrene floor. They'll give you a piece of styrene purposely cut oversized so you can actually trim it to fit the wagon once it's been built. And also in the bottom of the box there, they give you a piece of wire that's used for handrails and brake hangers, brake hanger bits and pieces and other bits like that. So that's basically in a nutshell what you get in one of these kits. I mean, it's quite simple, and they actually do make up a really nice kit. And I already got a couple of them on my layout already. You've probably seen them in a couple of my previous videos. So I've got this one here to make up, and I've got this one here to make up. So this is going to be a double build. I'm going to do two at once here. These kits, when you take them out for the first time, when everything's all out, you really want to give them a wash. So give them a clean. I use like a warm soapy water, and I've got an old toothbrush. Actually, it's not an old toothbrush, it's a brand spanking new toothbrush that I bought specifically to clean kits. So I give them a little scrub down and that, make sure there's no residue and anything left on the parts, bits and pieces. Don't use hot water. Please don't use hot water, because hot water can actually distort the resin sides and bits and pieces. So there you go. So we're going to go away. We're going to open up both these kits. We'll get all the bits and pieces out. Then we're going to go wash them, and then we'll look at starting up the assembly. Okay, so everything's all laid out and together. A little bit hard to see because of this mat here. The wheels been checked, they're all good. The underframe and everything has been sanded and touched up and fold and made to look pretty. So we'll get on. We're going to start adding the bearings into these soul bars here and continue on with the build. Okay, so here's what we're doing here. We've got these soul bars, and then we've got these little inserts here, and we need to plop the bearing straight into there. So a little tiny bit of super glue on the end of the bearing there, and you need the tiniest little bit there, and I'm going to bed that in, make sure that goes in all the way, and continue on with the other four. Okay, with the two soul bars, the bearings put in the soul bars there, we're going to turn our attention to the underframe, and we have we're going to drill a hole through here and also here as well. There's one of the brake rodding needs to go through there, so we'll get that done. Another good thing about having a metal work is I use these magnets. These magnets fit perfectly into there, and that'll hold it while I drill the hole. So using the pin vise, I'm going to drill through that first bearing. So that's been drilled through, and I've got this section of brass rod that I've put through. Now we're going to keep that in there because that's going to help us line up our soul bars when we go to put our soul bar on. Don't worry about trimming it or anything. I'll just leave it like that in the meantime. So if you look on our soul bar, we've got this little piece of detail just here. And as that fits on the side, that needs to line up with that metal bar. Needs to line up in there. So make sure that lines up, everything's nice and straight and smooth. And this is the first soul bar that we glue on. Okay, so now that we got that soul bar on and it's nice and cured, this is where the tricky bit is. So we're going to add this sole bar to this side, plus we've got to hold the wheels in there and glue it, make it all line up. So the easiest way for me to do it is I put little bits of blue tack in there, and then the wheels sit on that blue tack, and that way the wheels will actually stay in the bearings while I put the other sole bar on. So I'm not trying to juggle too many things at once. Now all I've got to do is just put the glue on the edge there, flip the sole bar up straight onto the side. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, so moving on from that, when everything's all nice and true and glued up and that, we're going to move on to doing the brake hangers here. So these are basically, they're quite fiddly, so you be careful with them. And they're just going to be popping into the couple of little holes in behind the wheels there, like I have done with this one here. And we want to make them so the wheel is as close as we can to this block, but not so it stops the actual wheel from turning. So we get them in nice and close, and it should be good. And once they're in the holes there, as I said, we'll just bend them up, and so they'll be able to fit against the wheel. Okay, so now I've got the brake hangers on. Next is the brake link, which is this little tiny piece here. And that's going to go in, and I actually had to drill a hole through that, and then that's threaded through this metal bar into there. And that's actually going to couple up with the brake cylinder that we're going to be sitting here. Okay, so now once that bit's in place, we're going to put the brake cylinder on here, and the piston goes towards the brake rigging there. A little bit of glue there. Just going to sit that in the hole. And make sure that we get that nice and sitting properly. And we'll connect up the brake rigging there shortly. And there we've got both underframes there, and I've got these little brass strips I've put on the over each brake hanger there. So that's about as far as I can go with the underframe at the moment, and I can't put the slack adjusters or anything like that on until I actually put the body on. So coming up in the next step, we're going to start making the body. Here we go with the body now. I've got the bits and pieces out, and I've just cleaned them up. It wasn't a heck of a lot of cleaning up to do, because these are really nice castings, and they really don't have a lot of flash or anything, or any bits and pieces to actually clean up. So that turned out pretty well. So basically what we're doing is we're building the body, and it's basically the two ends, two sides. I glue the two ends and the two sides on, and I do the floor last. So I'll be using you can see the lines I was talking about near the start of the video that I've got scribed into the steel plate. So I just line the ends up and the sides up with these lines on the steel plate, and that helps me keep everything nice and true. And also what I've done with the ends, I've prepped the insides as well. I've used a small file, and I've keyed in, you can see on either side, if I get that in the right light. Basically, so that just helps the glue key in when I glue these sides together. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue getting those put in properly. So we'll glue them up, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so there we go. I've got one side there glued up, and yeah, as you can see, I've got it all squared up on those lines. And I basically just wait for that to set. I'll do one side, another side, and identical to this, and then I'll glue them both together, the two halves together, to make the complete body. Okay, so what we've done is we've just gone through and we've just glued all four sides of the wagon together, and we've brought up our underframe here, and we've just trimmed off this side here, and we've trimmed off this side here, equal amounts, just so it's enough to fit in between the headstocks there, fit in nice and snug and perfect in there. So then the next stage after that, we know that that all fits. We're going to cut this floor to size, and we'll fit it inside the wagon. Okay, so with everything else done, we've actually gone and cut the floor to size, and we need to score in the lines in the bottom of the floor. So using my dullest sort of scalpel, I just use the back of it. I'm just going to run it down a couple of times. Just try and get sort of like a little line there. And I'm going to do that bits and pieces along the way. Like that. So I went and marked up off the plans where these sort of score lines go here. And we should end up something a little bit like that, and that'll be the floor of the wagon there. Okay, so we've gone ahead, we've put the floor in the wagon there, and it actually come out pretty nice. So that in there looking pretty good. So the next step is we've got the center line there. We've marked the center line and using a pair of calipers, and got a mark here on the underframe and another mark on this side on the underframe. So if my calculations are correct, that should just drop straight in there and get that absolutely centered, and we can glue that in there. We know that it's all centered. Okay, so now that we got the actual the underframe glued on to the bottom of the wagon there, we can go back to where we remember at the start there I said we're going to leave this this rod and that come through there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fit the handbrake. So this will be this will fit on the end of there and that there. So we need to trim the top of that there off. So we'll just trim that. And should sit onto there, and we'll glue that onto there. We'll attach that on. That'll be the handbrake attached on. Okay, so this is the step where we're up at the moment. Okay, we've got the wagons built, we've got the underframes done, we've actually got the actual bodies built and everything. So everything is up to date on both wagons at the moment. The next step is adding the couplers. As soon as I add the couplers, then I can go underneath again. I could use put in the slack adjusters and the last part of the brake rigging. So hey, if you made it this far, thank you very much. Not long to go now, and we'll get these wagons finished off. Well, welcome back. It's been a couple of days later. So what I've actually done is I've put on the brake rigging as per the instructions, and I've also gone away. I put the couplers on as per the instructions, and I've got my self-centering springs there. So if that'll focus. So they're all in, and I use the 634s. They really work well for me, so I use them. Happy with those. So the next stage is we got the 3 holes at the back there for the brake pipe, and the 2 safety chains, and they're just basically on a little brass sprue. So I'm going to cut those off and get them all filed up and looking neat, and I'll add them on. Okay, so I went ahead and I just glued in the brake chains there, the safety chains and the brake hose. Everything and they're quite nice. And the next step after this one here is the handrails. They're really fiddly handrails. I've got one on each side. So we're going to drill the holes out for them. We'll bend up the handrails for that, and we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so I have gone and drilled the holes out for the a couple of handrails here, and I've just gone and I've bent up, and it's quite small, bent up a little bit of wire. It's to go into the end there, so I'm going to see if I can do it. It's a little bit tricky doing this with the camera in your face, but if we can get the handrails in there, like that. So that goes on each side of the wagon there. I'll glue that into position. Okay, so here we go. We've got the handrails on, all the safety chains, brake hoses, everything is put on. These kits are structurally done, and I actually really enjoyed building these two kits, and definitely going to be building a few more as time goes on. But these ones are all done, and they're going to head off to the paint shop, and they're going to get their coat of red oxide there, and handrails and everything painted on and decals put on. So stay tuned for that. We'll head over to the paint shop and see if we can get the airbrush going. Okay, so here I am. I'm outside in the garage and I'm about ready to start painting up these wagons. Now I'm going to do a, because they've all been cleaned, I'm going to do like a primer coat, like a first coat. And this will probably take about 2 or 3 coats to cover this all up. So we'll get the airbrush cranked up and we'll get onto it. So now with the painting all done, I'm quite happy with how they've turned out. We've just got to paint the handrails, as I've already done on this this wagon here. Done the handrails and the brake pipe and bits and pieces like that. So now we're going to do the same to this one. And I think apart from the decals, these are pretty much almost done. Okay, so we've gone back over to the workbench here, and we're just going to paint these various pieces white, and there's a couple of bits and pieces we need to paint black. So I'm just using a little small little brush. Quite hard to do with the camera in your face, but just nice and easily, very gently. Give the handrails of paint up, making sure we get all the sides of the rail. So that looks pretty good. So in addition to that, the end of this brake hose here needs to be painted white as well. So and also we do the underneath as well. And it's not looking too bad actually. In addition to the handrails and the brake arm, we've got the brake hose here. Now don't be too concerned if I get too much paint on this hose here, because that's going to be painted black. Sorry, I'm out of focus. I like to paint all my light colours first before I do the darker colours, if possible. So it should end up, I might have to do a couple of coats on that one. It should end up something like that on one side. Then I'll do the same on the other side. That'll like that. And again the brake hose. I've actually quite enjoyed building these two kits together. I'd enjoy building all my kits, but these ones here, doing the video about it, I've actually enjoyed putting this video together. So I've never done this before. Hopefully it's hopefully everyone likes it. Okay, now with these wagons on the opposite side of where this brake lever is, on the opposite side of the wagon, on the brake handbrake side here on this headstock, needs to be a white square painted. So I'm quite lucky I don't have too many shakes, otherwise I usually have to mess around with little tiny bits of masking tape. But if if I get that into focus. I think that would definitely do it justice. So that's all the white done. We're going to move on to the black. We'll just paint the hoses and go. Right, so we're going to be coming along. We're going to just paint these brake hoses. Just using a flat black. Make sure we get all the sides. Starting to get the shakes now. Should end up something like that. Let's get the other side. I think as opposed to buying model trains off the shelf, I think you get more of a satisfaction of actually building them yourself. What I've found anyway. I mean, you buy something straight off the shelf and plonk it on the layout. It's good, but there's a bit of a satisfaction of building these things yourself. So I'm quite happy with that. And just like that, with all that done, we're pretty much all done here. We've got both wagons completed. I still have to have the decals put on, so I'm going to put them on the later date. But hey, it's been a bit of a long video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I definitely enjoyed putting these together. So they're definitely, I just got to make up some more car cards for them, and they can join the rest of the fleet on the layout and start being part of the running fleet. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, then thank you very much for taking the time and the patience to watch it. I'm glad you, I hope you enjoyed watching me build these two kits here straight out of the box there. I will include a link in the description to South Dot Models, so you can go and check them out. And they've got a few nice kits in their range. Also, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. You'll be first in line to get notifications when my new videos come out. And also, don't forget to give the video a like, throw anything in the comments you want to know. So yeah, basically what I can say is thank you so much for joining me, and as I always say, stay safe, stay healthy, stay well. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers everyone.